Hey everyone, FollowMate here, showcasing my latest treehouse settlement build, done on survival with no mods or Creation Club add-ons. This project features a lot of time-consuming wire glitches and wire manipulation techniques to give copper wire the appearance of rope, which works perfectly for these kinds of builds. I'll go over how to do it later on the video. This survival character PC game file is on my members community tab for download if you guys want to support the channel and explore all my builds firsthand on PC. All my future projects will be consolidated into this one game file as well. Murkwater construction site is the perfect location for these kinds of builds. There's plenty of trees that you can easily interconnect with floor pieces and turn this whole place into a treehouse settlement. The swamp and rainy environment definitely adds to the whole vibe. It's a bit of a challenge to build here with the darkness and the surrounding areas with high level enemies. Because these builds take a while to complete and I have to constantly sleep to save my progress, in-game time does pass very fast and it causes nearby clear areas to respawn enemies sometimes. And due to my constant irregular sleep and lack of eating and drinking, I'm always riddled with diseases and stat debuffs. But it's not all bad, to be honest. Diseases do go away after a certain amount of time has passed, and these debuffs aren't a big deal when I'm just building. I was actually thinking of making a video about building with no mods on survival, just to talk about these nuances and how to tackle them on vanilla builds. For this particular build, the first thing I did was deciding which trees I'm gonna intend to use and the general layout of the treehouse. I experimented with some floor pieces on the ground just to be sure of the layout. I started off with the right platform. I wanted to give it more of a rounded look, so I glitched in some wooden floor pieces at an angle utilizing the concrete column. Then using long scaffolding frames to bring them up to my desired height. From here on I made a quick floor bridge and surrounded the other tree where I will be setting up the actual treehouse. With the basic layout set up, I decided to do a spiral staircase. I used the outhouse pieces from the bar section as steps. I put rocks to cover the hole in the middle, then used a concrete column to align them at an angle. I wasn't too worried about building too many, the rest would just glitch under the soil. For the rope railings, I had to use a lot of glitches. There's a YouTuber that did a very thorough guide if you guys want to check that out and learn how to do it. The link is in the description. Basically what I did is set up conduits to guide the glitch wire placement. I added another conduit that I utilized for the wire glitch. I connected the wire to it, then took the wire a good 20 meters away until the wire turns red. Then I press cancel. To manipulate the wire, you have to store or delete the conduit it was connected to for the wire glitch. So now that we've deleted that conduit, we can put this wire in any place we want it to without needing a connected conduit. I then utilized the conduits I placed to guide the wire in the position I want it to. I don't connect the conduits, I just set it in place and press cancel. The wire will stay in whichever position you left it in. Since it's glitched, I can put any objects through it. Once I painfully repeated this process several times, I then added the wooden posts to complete the rope railings. It starts making sense once you're actually doing this glitch. The more you do it, the faster you get at it. You can make a lot of intricate designs with it. I've seen some old vanilla builders get crazy creative with this. Utilizing the same technique, I made the rope ladder. I set up concrete columns and conduits as perfectly straight as possible as placeholders. Then utilized the wire glitch to set up the wire along the conduit path. I'm not gonna lie, I died a little inside doing this glitch. It's a lot of repetition, double checking and constant sleeping. Still, I do enjoy these kinds of challenges that I wouldn't come across if I were playing with mods. After the ladder, I built the actual treehouse. I did change the layout and design several times throughout the build, so what you see here isn't final. I did have to glitch floor pieces for part of the roof, since the actual roof pieces wouldn't connect due to the trees sticking out from the top. Next on my list was making a more realistic bridge. Usually shelf and wall decorations snap into whatever wall or roof you put them into. But if you set up a shelf on a pre-existing wall, you can manipulate it by using something like a concrete column. These wooden shelf pieces are the perfect plank shape for a wooden bridge. I set them up one by one as straight as possible. I was eyeballing the length of it by comparing it to a shack floor piece so I have an idea how long I should make it. So all I had to do now was bring it up to height and set it in place as straight as possible. Once I had the scaffolding set up in good position, I slept to save. If I messed up the position, I simply reloaded the save and try again. Next was setting up rope, so more wire glitches. I set up conduits as placeholders for the wires, utilizing the same technique I showed earlier. I added the wooden posts to complete the rope railings. So now with most of the main structure completed, I added some straight bolt track pieces to resemble support beams. I didn't like the idea of a treehouse just floating in the air. I didn't like the wooden fences and opted to do more wire glitches to complement the look. I used conduits and powered speakers as placeholders for the wires. Once the wires were connected in the right place, I placed more wooden posts to complete the fence. With most of the hardest components of the build finished, I started adding a pathway with floor pieces and shack bridges utilizing the concrete column. Then adding decorations and light fixtures to light up the pathways. As with the shelf units, wall-mounted items like these candles can be manipulated by putting them in pre-existing walls. I then made these planters for my crops. I made a whole guide on crops and plant placement if you guys want to check that out in the description as well. These rocks have soil-like appearance and I was able to grab some crops to put on top. Crops are only selectable with the concrete column when they have visible fruit ready for harvest. I was having a hard time placing this one, so I ended up having to use a scaffolding piece to set it in place. Next, I worked on the staircase for the roof access. Nothing special, I just added a staircase from the warehouse section and some shelves as steps. I went back to set up more planters for my crops and put them in the roof. I also used the same rocks to cover up the holes in the right platform since I ran out of ideas on how to cover the gap in the middle. And it worked out in the end. I added a small power generator and glitched some conduits and wires under the soil to power up some of the light fixtures around the pathway and the upper platforms. For the last little details, I added rocks to my furniture so that the stuff I put on it doesn't fall out when I leave the area and it has to reload. I also went around nearby places to gather non-workshop items like this gas tank, tires, junk items in the near red rocket station, garbage can, and a cap stash. I haven't done such a complex and complicated build in a while. It does look small and simple if you aren't familiar with vanilla settlement build mechanics. You'd probably think that this only took a few hours. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.